Hi, my name is Habib, and I'll be presenting some advice for Mr. Dimitri, who is the managing director of Argopolo Travel. So basically, he is running a small business on a Greek island. He has a travel agency taking tourists around the island. So what has recently happened is that he's got a competition. That competition is called Argo. So his company is called Argopolo Travel, and his competition is coming along something like Argo Travel. So the owner of Argo Travel is Kitty Mazakas. So what they have done is literally copying Mr. Dimitri's business brochures and the stuff that he's done, and claiming that they've been around here for 35 years and they're running very similar business to Mr. Dimitri's, and they're partnered up with Mr. Dimitri, and they've been ruining Mr. Dimitri's reputation and giving him damages financially, and also in terms of the goodwill of his business, the reputation. So basically, Argo Travel is the new competition who's not giving a very good service, also misleading the people. So today I'll be giving you my advice. I'll talk about the nature of action, what has to be established, strength and weaknesses of both Mr. Dimitri's and the respondents, which is the Argo Travel owner, and also some alternative dispute resolution and mechanisms, such as what needs to be taken into account in solving this problem without going into a formal litigation such as court. Okay, I'll start with making claim under ACL, which is the Australian Consumer Law, and so I'll be talking about the contravention of section 18 of ACL, that is stating that engaging in a conduct in trade or commerce which is misleading and deceptive is likely to be misled or deceived. So what we can say under this section is section 18 of ACL is that the owner of Argo Travel has obviously misled and deceived the clients, claiming that he is partnered up with Mr. Dimitri as part of his business, which is not true. The other section is section 29 1F of ACL, so making false or misleading representation concerning a testimonial by any person or representation that purports to be such a testimonial. So we can also claim under this section that they're misleading and misrepresentation of the business, Mr. Dimitri's, to the customers on that Greek island that Mr. Dimitri is running his business. We can also say section 29 1H of ACL, which is making a false and misleading representation that the person making the representation has a sponsorship, approval or affiliation. So what he's saying is that he's working with Mr. Dimitri, and he's got the sponsorship, and he's got the approval, which he does not. Moving on, talking about common law claim, we can claim, Mr. Dimitri can claim that the respondent, Argo Travel, has wrongfully passed his business of the Mr. Dimitri's business. So he's came and literally copying everything off Mr. Dimitri's business brochures, the websites, claiming that they've been around here for 35 years, and also claiming that they're partnered up with Argo Travel, which is not true. That can be a common law claim. Remedies we can claim here. Remedies that can be claimed by the applicant, Mr. Dimitri, makes a pecuniary claim of $869,000 for loss and damages, which has been suffered. He's lost his reputation, and also the business that he lost, and the bad reputation and reviews that he gets by the client. People thinks that this is actually Argopolo, which is not, that giving that bad service to the tourists around that Greek island. Moving on to elements of any cause of action and defense of cross claim. So in a civil matter, the party who brings a claim has to prove the elements of the claim. So In this case, Mr. Dimitri has to prove that those elements, and I believe that he has a great chance of success, and he's got lots of evidence in there as well. The elements of cause of action are found relevant law in the present matter. The elements of cause of actions are found in section 18 and section 29, 1F and H of ACL, which we have just spoke about, as well as in common law, cause of action of passing off. So let's say Mr. Dimitri raises the respondent, if they raises a defense and makes a counterclaim, therefore they have to have the onus and to prove all of that. If they claim the same, that look, Argo Travel is not copying Argopolo, then they have to have the elements, and they have to prove in their defense. Talking in terms of evidence, so the applicant, Mr. Dimitri, has to support by bringing corroborative evidence. In the present matter, the applicant has to provide with the following evidence, but he's limited to such as stuff as screenshots of advertising by the respondent of Argopolo on social media such as Facebook and Twitter, brochures, affidavits and statutory declarations made by the applicants as witnesses, and any other relevant evidence is good, or for example those reviews, that he hasn't been around the area for 35 years, those all of evidence that Mr. Dimitri can bring. We move on to strengths and weaknesses of claim and the counterclaim. So based on the analysis of facts and evidence and defense available, it appears that the applicant, Mr. Dimitri's claim has a reasonable prospect of success, and I believe that he will be successful in his claim, and also that success of claim is also contingent upon the statement by witnesses. So he's got to have solid evidence and from his witnesses that he will be successful. And lastly, we'll talk about the alternative dispute mechanism. So how do we not take this to formal litigation at the court? So we can talk about negotiation, mediation. We can negotiate with Argopolo and to get that damages and remedy for Mr. Dimitri, which is the applicant, and to speak to get them in mediation, get a mediator, and we try to solve this problem without going to a formal litigation. Also try reconciliation, and this problem can be solved. That is all. And at the end, in conclusion, I believe that Mr. Dimitri has a very good chance of, with all that evidence, he will be successful in his claim. Thank you.